Lilith, Amanda, and Emily. I am Amanda, and next to me is Lilith Electra, and then down there below in the middle, kind of, sort of, all there, here, right here, here ish. There. That's Emily. That's Emily Kailyn. Hey, everybody, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am
good.
Nice.
I'm puzzled.
Okay.
I'm puzzled. I have been, so I don't know if I've discussed with you my kind of go to sleep ritual, kind of my thing that I do to go to sleep and how I go to sleep. Have I ever talked about that with y'all before?
I think briefly, but yeah, I think it deserves repeating.
I mean,
Yeah,
I go to sleep.
You stayed with me for a while. You like have YouTube playing way too loud, and
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, Lilith knows. Lilith knows because she
at 3 a.m. I'm like, why is the TV playing so loud? And it's you watching YouTube. Yeah, that's
yeah. I just have YouTube on, and so I have like my algorithm has nestled into a thing where like at night it goes into like kind of the esoteric kind of like philosophy dream state kind of stuff, like mysteries and it gets less linear, like the deeper into the night it goes. And so a lot of what comes on is philosophy. And so like I have a lot of different I have a loose, broad knowledge of like, general spiritual philosophies and theologies and whatnot. And I have a friend that's a Buddhist, and she definitely believes in like the concept of like karma and samsara and reincarnation and all that. And the thing that came up is I noticed that one of the things that popped into my feed today is the Olsen twins, or Mary Kate and Ashley. And I was thinking about like, what they're doing and their life and how fucking weird it is. And like, how if samsara's real and karma's real and you get reincarnated based on your actions in a previous life. What the fuck did Mary and Kate and Ashley Olsen do to get in this weird ass fucking situation? Because their existence is fucking puzzling.
What do you know specifically about their place in life that makes you think that?
I think I know what everybody knows, in the sense that I know that they're obscenely rich and they got famous as babies on Full House. They were the famous twin babies that played one baby on a show that was way more popular than it had any right to be, for reasons unknown to anyone. No one knows why that show was successful as it was. No one does.
Lilith, what was your comment?
I didn't have a comment. I was just going to say, like the thing is that their sister is a way more successful actress now than they are.
Yeah.
But also the Olsen, I explained this to you already, Amanda. The Olsen twins are like the Titans from Greek mythology. They've been defeated. They're timeless gods who live outside of the constraints of our world. And their punishment is to be locked in this tomb. So what will happen next to the Olsen twins is they'll be reborn as the Olsen twins and live this hugely successful, unhappy life where gross old men leer over them, and then they just, go into hiding once they're 18. And they have all this money, but they look like timeless warlocks, and that's because that's what they are.
So what you're saying is the Olsen twins have always been the Olsen twins, and always will. They've always been the Olsen twins. They've always been there. Yeah, they've all. There's timeless. They're timeless. They're eternal, like the universe.
Eternal.
And the engine and
they're not bound by. They're not bound by our sense. They're not bound by our sense. They're not bound by our sense of time. Whereas when they die, and like say they die in 2080, they aren't reincarnated in 2081. They die, and the next thing they remember is the theme from Full House playing, because they're back to being the baby from Full House, and they're just starting the whole ordeal over again.
Which is what was
that's it.
What's the mythical?
That's the punishment. That's where they are.
Which is the character that has the crow that's constantly picking out his liver and then it grows back? What's that?
The eagle that eats his liver.
Oh,
is that Prometheus?
Yeah.
Okay. It seems very
Prometheus.
Yeah. I was
similarly Promethean, but a little less horrific.
I was thinking more about Sisyphus just pushing a giant boulder up a mountain and then getting to the top and sliding all the way back down again. Yeah.
I saw a meme today about Sisyphus, and some dude was like, if I was Sisyphus, I would just rub my dick against that boulder.
Oh, men are fun. Men are fun.
That's how America got in this situation to begin with. That's their answer for everything.
Rubbing their dick against boulders.
Just rub your dick on it.
Just rub my dick on it.
I'm glad that my daughter doesn't watch this show, so I won't get in horrendous trouble for saying this. But she told a story this morning of being out dancing, and a guy was dancing with her and purposely moving her purse out of the way so that she could feel his hard member against her leg. And it's just like, I hate that person. Speaking of
like
gross men just rubbing their dick on things, why don't we just get back to our original topic, which was the Olsen twins?
I think it's all related, really. Was
that a strong topic? Was that a strong topic for us? I thought that was a fine one to move on from.
I did once declare. I'm not always right.
Do we want to talk about that, or do we want to talk people rubbing their dicks on stuff?
Well, I have something else we can talk about. We can do a complete turn from this entirely.
Oh, thank God! Thank God! Yes, I appreciate this. Yes,
I'm going to somehow bring it back to dick folders and the Olsen twins. Like, you realize I'm already thinking of a way to get back to this.
To dick rubbing. Okay.
I mean, Dick Boulders and the Olsen twins sounds like a movie they were in.
So right now my brain is thinking, am I going to need to bleep every instance of the time we say the word dick?
I don't know, because it is a name, right?
Name.
It's a name. It's someone's name. How do you, okay. How old do you think currently, right now, at this moment in 2025, how old do you think the youngest person in the world is that goes by Dick? Like, my name's Dick.
Goes by it?
Yeah, they're like that. Their name is Richard or Rick or whatever. But they're like, no, call me Dick. How old do you think the youngest person in the world that does that is right now?
So I know I'm of the generation. I know I'm of the generation that was still, the name Richard was still somewhat common, because I worked with several on my last company that were all about my same age range, but I don't know any of them that chose to go by Dick. I think it would be older than us, so like probably 70 at the youngest.
No, there's some kid who, like 30 seconds old. Call him Dick. That is a stone cold fact. That is a stone cold fact. There is some. Well, now he's like 38 seconds old, but there's some little kid out there just born who's going to be called Dick.
I think you're missing what I'm getting at here. Not like
you're trying to keep Emily from talking about what she wanted to talk about. I get it.
No, I'm not. I'm not doing that at all. What I'm saying is it's not enough to be like, so like like there's the English names thing is weird because it's like okay, well, it's Richard. I'm Richard, but I go by Dick. It's like, well, I'm John, but people call me Jack, and like they'll make it like some stupid nickname that like is somehow associated, like Bill is William somehow. Like it doesn't make any sense, but we do it, and we all understand those things. And one of those things is that as Dick is an alternate name for Richard. So it's not enough to be named Richard. Like, because there's plenty of people named Richard in the world right now, babies even for some reason, but they have to willingly, consciously choose to go by Dick. Like, my name is Dick. Call me Dick. I'm going by Dick. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Dick. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's the person that I mean. So no, it doesn't count with babies because babies don't get to choose their names. They get called with their parents called them.
I mean, if we're going by conservative logic, your brain isn't formed enough to make your own decisions like that till you're 26.
That's true.
So 26.
Can't choose your name till you're 26.
Is the time. Yeah, until you don't know if you're a dick until your brain is fully formed at 26. Now at 19, your brain is fully formed enough to say, date 9-year-old Gavin Newsom. But you're really not going to be able to know about yourself until you're 26.
I think now the conundrum here is that what you're saying is that like you can't really truly be Dick, manifest as Dick until you're 25 because your brain isn't fully formed. But legally, at age 18 in the United States, you can get a tattoo on your head that says, call me Dick. If you want, you could get that. It wouldn't be binding. You might change your mind at 25. You'll have to get it covered up by like Popeye eating spinach or something, but I don't know.
Emily, you want to weigh in here?
No, I'm just hearing the thing, and I'm looking in to see if I'm gonna have to bleep all these instances of that word in YouTube.
You're thinking about, see, you're forgetting the first principle of the Buddha, and you're getting ahead of the game. The first principle of the Buddha, of course, being concentrate on what you are doing, and you're not doing that. You're going ahead, and that's why. I mean, that's probably why, like, what the Olsen twins are doing, why they keep ending up being the Olsen twins, is because they're not concentrating on the first principle of the Buddha, and they're not concentrating on what they are doing. They're thinking about like, so how can I get another video game about me riding horses?
So are you warning me that I'm in danger of being reincarnated and repeating this exact scenario?
Well, I'm thinking you might be in danger of being reincarnated as the Olsen twins.
Oh no. Yeah, take this as a cautionary tale, everyone. Don't end up being the Olsen twins. It's not don't end up being like the Olsen twins. Don't end up being the Olsen twins.
Well, I mean, I could think
please to be the Olsen twins, you'd have to be a godlike creature, commit.
Yeah. I agree with you, Lilith. Oh, she froze up.
You'd have to be convicted of some sort of crimes on a galactic level, which is what the Olsen twins did.
Clearly, yes.
You can't just make 10 different versions of the movie The Olsen Twins in New York when you're 16 and end up in an eternal time loop. You have to commit some serious universal crimes.
Okay.
He's like Emperor Palpatine, like when he got thrown into the thing by Darth Vader, that like he came back as
and it didn't kill him. He came back in every movie since. That now we're going down. They were all prequels. We're going down. No, no, they weren't.
Didn't all of the Star Wars movies go back in time even further?
No, just the first second three. The third three.
The first, second, three.
Back in time. Yeah.
Of the third set.
I just really appreciate that Lilith was the one that went full on Star Wars nerd and I didn't have to. Like I can plausible deniability.
I don't think that was a nerd moment. I think that was just factual information.
Factual information. Yes.
Says the only person here with glasses.
It's +5 to my charisma, so you'd probably watch it.
I think it's +1 to perception. Thank you very much. And I believe, excuse me.
Yeah, perception check. And so my fun thing that I wanted to bring up, if we're ready to move on and change topics entirely.
Thank you.
Okay. I realized 1 hour and 9 minutes ago, while I was in a different city, that I needed to be on a show today. Somehow, my ADHD is to the point, just exists in this space where I am bad about writing things on my calendar and remembering in the moment that I'm bad about that. And I will look at my calendar and go, oh, my calendar is wide open today. I can go do whatever I want. It's just this weird thing of like, I'm aware of the fact that I'm bad at writing things in my calendar, right? So I should be able to remember, like, I have a clear slot in my calendar. Obviously, that's probably not true. I need to do some investigating and figure out what should be on my calendar today, because I should never trust it when I see an open day. And yet, like, yeah, I go out and I went on a hike with my kids this morning. It was super fun. And then I'm like, hey, we should go out to lunch. we're on the way, and I see a ping from Lilith, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm gonna be on camera in a half hour. And so luckily we were a half hour away. Traffic made me a little bit late, but I was able to make it on time from like complete zero, like no recollection of the fact that I do a weekly show at the same time every week. Like, my brain is a marvel. Like, I need to donate it to science. Like, how it can do these things at the same time, like it's miraculous in the worst way.
I'm definitely gonna donate my brain to science, I think. How do you do that? Like, I think does us just saying it now like constituted? Is that like a verbal affidavit kind of?
From what I've seen from the commercials, we need to go on LegalZoom to make it official.
You just have to email RFK Jr. and he'll take care of it from there.
I'll take care of it. Okay. Yeah.
Just email him. Yeah. Donate my brain to
just
science.
Email him.
Like, science is illegal.
He'll turn to his assistant and like, we have to get to this person and get their brain. And you're like, okay, guy, just type. And
can you text me? Could you just send me a text? Just email me.
Just write it on a note card, please, or anything.
Oh my God, he's the ultimate boss of this should have just been an email.
Yeah, right.
You know, those like when people have like they get throat cancer and they have to talk through that buzzy thing and it goes like here. I think RFK Jr. sounds like a guy with that's talking through one of those things, and then that thing is going through another one of those things.
Either that or he has to do that. Oh, this is going to be horrible. I'm going to regret this. But he has that. But then he also has like cerebral palsy or something where he shakes. So it just sort of goes in and out. So he can't like hold it consistent.
No, you're both wrong. He actually talks like an engine that they're trying to start in a Milwaukee winter. And it's just like
will never start.
Engine knock, and it's not going to start. And yeah.
I don't like myself very much right now for my last comment, but we're going to move on.
I tried to like,
but something tells me the Trump administration won't be sending us anytime soon this week. So.
Anyway,
anywho,
we do have some questions. You all want to get to our stated purpose here at being trans?
Yeah.
We did our opening ceremonies, and we thank you all for coming. Like and subscribes. Smash that heart in the comments section, like there I'm doing it. You can just keep pressing it, like I'm doing right now.
Look at all the
like
hearts.
all those hearts are coming. You can just all do that, and then just send the hearts, and then that somehow is good for us. I don't know. There's something. I think it gets us all money.
It's some kind of engagement thing.
I do have to say, I do love when you ask us a question but never stop talking. You're like, do you want to? And we're like, and it's like, we keep going. So
I'll be honest, Lilith, I don't even remember the question I asked.
that doesn't shock me. I've been doing this show with you for like 3 years now.
No recollection of asking a question whatsoever.
Your question was, we like to go to the questions, and my answer was yes, anything to get us to stop talking about the lore of the Olsen twins, for crying out loud.
All right. Well, our first question comes to us from an anonymous person, and it's the title of the question is how to deal with hair dysphoria / dysphoria in general. So I have been cracking in and out of my egg for at least 5 years now, but I've come to terms I'm trans femme. Now that I've accepted that, a lot of stuff has become more clear to me, like dysphoria. One really big dysphoria I have is my hair. I'm used to boy moding and haven't even had the chance to see myself as a girl physically. But one thing that really bothers me is how short my hair is and how long it's taking me to grow it out. My hair was crew cut short when I first realized I was trans and decided to escape my dad's house, and it's been a year since. My hair is now at the length of my collar, a little more, and I tie it up into a half up, half down ponytail. Is there any way to make the dysphoria ease or make my hair grow faster? I don't want to use wigs because they make me feel awkward, untrue to myself. Same with extensions.
Ooh, same with extensions. Interesting addition there at the end, because that's one way a lot of people get around that is with extensions.
Does change the dynamic a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I want to start with saying I fully understand not wanting the fake things. I tried wigs. They always looked horrible. Mine were cheap, but still. And then I used breast forms for a while, and those for a minute were brought some euphoria and some good things. And then I just hated the fact that they were false. So I totally understand that. I totally get that vibe. I have a lot to talk about the hair, but I'll let y'all.
I mean, I wore wigs for a time. I actually invested in a kind of nice wig and really liked it. And but I've grown my hair out, and I've done some. I was actually had like very bad baldness and had some hair replacements, and I could probably do another session or two of hair replacement stuff. But that works good. But I mean, it sounds like your hair, like sometimes you just have to like let your hair grow. I mean, I know it sucks, but your hair is already a collar length. It's not like
after a year, yeah, which is about right.
Red Dead Redemption, where you can drink Nix and over the scene have your hair.
Yeah, the thing about hair for me now, like you said, Lilith, you had the experience of having some hair thinning, and I know that's something that a lot of trans girls struggle with, and that's a really tough one. I've heard good things about, once you get on HRT, our bodies respond well to some of the hair growth pills that are out there. I've heard people that had luck with that, and then the surgical options seem to be helpful. So that's a great option. As far as hair growth, it goes back to the main theme of transition, which is patience. That's the key word to transition, is having patience. Because you can't control anything. It just happens when it happens, and a lot of it's just a lot of waiting. my funny experience with my hair is same thing, very impatient, very dysphoric about my hair, didn't know what to do with it, didn't know how to style it at those sort of like mid-length where it was, yeah, just touching the base of my neck down to the collar a little bit. And at the time, I really hated pretty much everything I did with my hair. And it was this big thing. And so it took a couple years and my hair got long. I love my hair now. Everybody compliments me on it and it's great. And then I get to a point I'm like, oh, it's getting a little bit too long and I want to get a cut. And I'll look back at the old photos when it was shorter and I'm like, oh, it looked really cute. And so it took me, it was just the dysphoria talking. It was just the desire to look super feminine and be accepted as a woman, as myself, and to see myself in the mirror the way I wanted to see myself, was what was holding back. Now that I can look back objectively, I can see that the hair, it was a really cute cut and it did look nice. That's just a perspective thing.
I actually agree with that perspective. I think a lot of what you said is kind of nails it, especially the patience thing. And it's one of the worst things to hear because you feel dysphoric now. Yeah, it's like and I mean they're just coming out, but I mean hair going from a buzz cut to like collar length, that's not nothing. That's about how long it takes hair to grow. I I would also say that like in the interim, like if you have collar length hair, that's long enough to get a styled cut. You'll still have short hair, but it can be a feminine cut. Plenty of beautifully feminine women have short hair. That exists. That's very much a thing. Yeah. But the thing that I want to kind of like draw a little attention to is the problem with going like, I don't want extensions, I don't want to wear wigs and all that because I don't feel like that's authentic. And I understand that. I'm very similar in that way. Like I don't even like having fake nails because it just doesn't feel right to me. I'm a very hippie, like organic. I don't have tattoos, I don't have piercings, any of that stuff. And it's just a taste issue for me. But I would ask the question asker to kind of ask themselves, where do you draw that line between organic and inorganic, like authentic and not authentic? Like hair extensions very well maybe the exact thing that you want. You'll just instantly have longer hair and it'll be the most organic way to be inorganically do it. But like if you can't even get extensions or anything like that, then like, well, are you going to wear makeup? Because that's not organic. Like that's inorganic. Are you going to wear jewelry? Jewelry doesn't grow off of you. Like it's like all of these things, like everything we do aesthetically can be argued that it's inorganic. Yeah, well,
I think the main thing also is if you're holding yourself to standards of femininity, you are holding yourself to inauthentic standards. Famous people you see, they do not look like that day to day. You know, you're seeing you're maybe seeing other people and holding yourself to that standard when that's really not the standard. And so you know, you have to make, you know, if I mean, you're putting a lot of roadblocks in yourself to like feel miserable. It's like, well, your hair is collar length. That's fairly long. You don't want to do these other things because they're inauthentic. Well, if you're that much into authenticity, then you would realize that your hair just grows as it grows. Hair tonic.
I get a haircut at all ever. Like, yeah, it's like that's what I mean by like, where do you draw that line? Because I've been like kind of wondering about that. Like, it's an aside, but like as a musician, that was a thing that always came up with like aesthetics, and which is like, oh, it's like, well, if you record a song this way, it's cheating. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole too much, but it's that. It's like, well, it's like at what point does something become inauthentic? Like what? It's kind of the ship of Theseus question, but like, I mean, if getting hair extensions is a bridge too far, well, is coloring your hair a bridge too far? Is using a curling iron a bridge too far?
I would also say that, you know, this comes, and I say this a lot, instead of looking at how far you are from where you want to go, look at how far you've come. And like you're on that way. You mentioned moving away from a parent who might not be supportive. And so like you're making those moves. So enjoy the moment, enjoy how far you've come, and realize that you're building towards something else.
Yeah, that's such an interesting thing to get into, the standards that we aspire to, that are the more societal things, but then the standards that we hold ourselves to, and how much of that fuels the dysphoria and brings that on. It's not, we tend to like to think that it's because, when I go out, other people are going to judge me. And that's why you want to meet some kind of visual standard. But the truth is, the standard is something that you are creating and you control. So the quicker you get to the point of being better about that and understanding that you decide what a woman is and what a woman should look like and how you want to look, and balance that with the reality of how you actually do look, and find that self-acceptance and that self-love, the easier it's going to get and the better that dysphoria is going to be.
I mean, that really is just it. It's just like, it is how you choose to perceive yourself. It's, you look in the mirror, you can look in the mirror and see all the bad things and see all the things like Lilith said about like, oh, I'm not where I want to be, but you're not seeing how far you've come from where you were. And even just like, yeah, even just hair length from a year, from a crew cut to like shoulder length or collar length is that's something, that's a difference, that makes a difference. And all of it is that. And you do get to choose your own narrative as far as like who you are and what you're all about. And sometimes it's fun to play with that, like, just try some things on, try something that you've never done before. And get up and look yourself in the mirror and be like, today I'm going to be, I'm going to be punk, or I'm going to be a goth, or I'm going to go e-girl, or whatever it is that you think you want to do. Like, I'm going to adopt this identity, and then try it and see how it works, because you might be just surprised at how like you can just do that. Like, you really get to kind of choose who you are in the way that you're presenting yourself to the world. And I mean, I'm not saying like don't be inauthentic in the sense of like you don't have to walk around pretending you're like, a movie star or something like that. But you know what
Yeah,
I'm getting at.
yeah, exactly. And you hit a really key point. Like, the authenticity comes from within, and you're allowed to try things to determine what is authentic to you. Like, you don't have to just always be authentic. Like, exploring who you want to be is an authentic thing to do. And so, even though, like, I mean, putting in extensions might be inauthentic in a way, but if that's how you want to present and how you feel best presenting is with long hair, and that gives you that, that is authentic to who you are. That's authentic to your journey and your exploration. And getting all done up goth with the black and everything, and determining that that isn't a look that fits you, that's very authentic. Like, discovering who you are is the most authentic thing you can do. I feel like I'm circling around this and saying things over and over again, but like, I just think that that is a really good thing to do, and a thing that we should all make sure we give ourselves permission to do, not just stick to this one ideal, because maybe eventually that won't fit for us. The more we explore, especially at this time where it's all kind of awkward, the better chance we're going to have of finding the things that really are our style and what we want to be and what's authentic to us.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and the other thing is like they're talking about like it's been 5 years. That's a long time to be in that space. And I mean, they said, I'm to quote them, it's like, I've been cracking in and out of my egg for at least 5 years now. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means they started HRT 5 years ago, or they're like, oh, I know I'm trans, but I'm not letting people know. But then I'm doubting it later. And I think that's kind of more what it means, is that, like, I don't know. But I mean, that's the other thing about it is like, is part of the hard thing about being trans and then going through with HRT is you're making the conscious decision to engage in a second puberty. And the first one weren't too fun, and the second one's harder. Like, and but you do have to get through it to get to that place where you're comfortable. And it sucks to hear, but there's nothing but going through it. And you're going to stumble along the way, and you're going to feel dysphoria. It's an inevitable part of it because, but, and it was a funny thing for me. I noticed that I pre-transition, before I started HRT, there were things about myself and characteristics that just didn't bother me at all, even though like I was dysphoric. The nature of my dysphoria changed once I started HRT. Like I started, and then after a couple months and the hormones started wreaking havoc and moving my brain around, like the things that gave me dysphoria were different than what it was prior to starting HRT. And then there were some of those things that I didn't even think about or that didn't bother me at all really started to bother me. And then other things that bothered me didn't bother me anymore. And so that there's no way to tell what's going to do it, but it is universally a part of just being a transgender person. And I think even just being a human being, I don't even think it's limited to trans people, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, being trans brings up some of these things, and you become more aware of it, and then you sort of realize that there is a lot of universal themes to being trans that a lot of people experience, but it just sort of is amplified, especially when you're in this period of trying to meet some ideals, meet some standards that you've had in your head that you've never been able to. You've seen this from the outside, and you've had longing for this experience your entire life, and then you realize that you're trans and this is something that you need to do and explore. And you know, like the being in and out of the egg is such a tough period. I remember being so timid that I would kind of pull back or whatever, and then once that last crack happens and you finally just burst out of your egg, then it's like you want everything, you want it now, and you want it to all to be great and to fit that picture you have in your head. And you want to be able to do all those things that you've always wanted to. And it's sort of like, it's sort of like drinking from the fire hose, and figuring out the nuances of some of these things can be really difficult in that time. And so it's just an awkward period. You're going to feel this about a lot of different things. You're going to have these deep existential thought exercises of like, what does it mean to be a woman? What does it mean to be me? All of these things. And, you know, it's just buckle up. It's a fun and interesting thing. And like you said, it's essentially puberty, but then also like a second childhood where as an adult, you've got to learn to do things that kids were subtly taught in little ways every hour of every day, their entire lives. And you've got to like learn it and pick up on it and adapt it quickly without looking awkward or feeling awkward. And yeah, it's just not going to happen. You're just going to feel awkward. So do what you want and explore, try all of the things. Even if you think extensions will be inauthentic, try it anyways. Just see.
Yeah, you won't know how you feel about it until you do it. And you might do it and be like, I hate this. And here's the beautiful thing about extensions. If you fucking hate them, you just cut them right back off. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, this is terrible. I hate it. But like, I would be willing to bet, based on my personal experience, and that like if they did try extensions, like immediately they'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And they would finally see themselves in the way that they want to see it, and it would like melt their butter, and they would just like be a puddle. Like that's usually how those things work for me. Like I remember I was like very adamant about like going too far in the direction of femininity when I first started, because I didn't want to just like overdo it. And so I was real cautious about like where I would go with that stuff, until like one day, like I just saw a dress that I wanted, and it was like this big sleeveless gown, and I was like, okay, and then I tried it on, and like, even though I didn't like fit the image of like, you know, the belle of the ball, like if you want to put it, but like I saw myself in the mirror, and I was just like, oh, and I just died, you know, and it was just like, and I had to get it, and it was like there was no coming back from it then. Like that was like the kick in the pants that I needed to go full femme.
Oh, I just want to address it. We're getting a lot of love for the channel. Left in the box, left of the box said this is a wonderful supportive channel. It's nice to see, and Ella agreed, and it's just very nice to see. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we do love seeing that stuff because we are. I mean, you know, this is an aside off topic, but like, I mean, I think a lot of the transgender focused channels out there and content is a lot of political stuff and a lot of really heavy serious things, and
Yeah.
I don't there's enough of that in the world. I don't need
Yeah.
any more of that. And it's just I want there to be some levity here, but like at the same time, we all just the three of us know what it's like to go through this stuff. We've been through it, and I just want to help as many people as I can. And despite everything, like things are getting better. Like overall, like the arc of justice is bending in the right direction. You know, as they say.
But still, you know, like you're kind of like you're saying, like there aren't enough trans channels out there that talk about rubbing dicks on boulders, you know. So like we're here providing a really important thing for the audience.
I mean, I think probably a lot of them don't talk about it because, like, I mean, what's to talk about? We're all doing it. Yeah, you want to rub your dick on a boulder? Of course you do. Everyone does. Yeah.
Lilith has just disengaged entirely.
I don't know if that's exactly true.
I mean, like 7 minutes ago, you were like, I feel like I'm just talking in circles, and then we've just been talking in circles. So I just got
go
off
with your
the
skills.
merry-go-round.
Go with your skills.
Lilith, you want to take the next question?
I don't have the questions in front of me.
Oh, I thought you did.
No.
This is actually can you get it, or you want me to read it, Lilith?
I've got it. If you want to read it, I thought maybe someone else might want to read it, but I'll happily read it.
This is you know, another one that Lilith chose today. Should I start HRT? Okay, pretty simple, basic one. Let's dive into and find out what they're actually talking about here. So I live in the US, and as most know, the political climate is not the best right now. Understatement of the year here. I just turned 18, and I've been waiting for years to finally start T, but I'm scared. What if things keep getting worse? What if this turns full-blown Nazi Germany and trans people start getting targeted and put in camps or prison, or just removed in bad ways? I'm scared to even tell my college I go by a different name. Last year, I was so excited to turn 18 so I could schedule that appointment, but now I don't know if it's safe to. Do you think it's a good idea to start or not? I really need some input. And then there's a crying emoji.
Lilith, what do you think?
Well, I hate to do this, but it's the answer I give on a lot of this stuff is, you know, you have to figure out what your level is to deal with something. And if you feel like, you know, whatever happens next, you can deal with it, then you start. And if you feel like you can't deal with it, then it's okay not to start. No one's going to think I'm not going to, maybe someone else out there will. There's some real assholes in the community, but I would not judge anyone who didn't start HRT at this time in America. I mean, I left. So obviously I'm not going to say anything. And nothing that's happened in the 9 months since I left has convinced me that I should have hung around, except that my house hasn't sold. Like if I'd have known that, I probably would have tweaked some things, but you know, you really have to like look at the situation honestly. And I'm also not going to, you know, one of my other things, I'm not gonna sit here and paint a picture for you like, oh, everything's gonna be fine. You know, this is all just talk. And it's like, you know what, it's not really just talk. But again, that has to be, what do you feel your situation is? Can you, same thing, like if I come out, I think my parents will leave. Well, I'm not gonna, or your parents will kick you out. Your parents wouldn't leave and leave you in the house. They'd probably,
be a real Home Alone type situation.
You have to realize, like, yeah, yeah. If you think your parents would kick you out, and you think, you know what, it's more important for you to transition than to have that steady home life, then you make that decision. But it's not anyone else's place to tell you, what you feel comfortable with. I think your instincts are right, that it is dangerous, and sad emoji that I can't just tell you what to do, but no one can tell you what to do. You have to figure out what your strength is, what you can deal with, what you're prepared to handle, and you have to kind of figure that answer out yourself. Sorry to just knock it back into your court, but there you go.
The thing is you're right, though. Like, everything about that is correct. There is no right or wrong answer.
I always am.
Is it dangerous?
It's the glasses.
Yeah. Is it dangerous in the United States? Yeah, it is. Like, we don't know what's going to happen either. I think every trans person in the US, and I think even everywhere, is affected by the political climate to some degree. Like, the general mood is it's anxious, to say the least. I don't know what's going to happen here. Like, I'm also, like, the US is an amorphous, like, nebulous term. Like, there's a big difference between being in Seattle and being in rural Georgia while this is going on, or like, North Florida. Like, those are two different situations, both in the US, and it makes a huge difference that there too. The fact that this person brought up that they couldn't wait till they were 18 to get the appointment implies to me that they couldn't, that their parents might not be approved, or their parents might not know,
or their state might not allow it.
Their state might not allow it. I thought about that too. It's like, as I don't really know what the maybe you're not allowed to get HRT before you're 18, period. I don't know how that is. I think maybe you can only go on hormone blockers, and you can't properly get HRT until after you're a legal adult.
Well,
that
yeah,
might be the case.
They're trying to ban gender care for anyone under 18, just in general. So that includes therapy and counseling and anything having to do with it, not just medical stuff. So yeah, it's very likely this person lives in a state where it wasn't available to them. Lilith?
Yeah, and even Gavin Newsom says your brain doesn't know until you're 87 whether you should be transitioning. So
yeah, there is no point in your life where you're able to make a full adult decision. Yeah.
But the thing about it is it dangerous? Yes. Is it worth it? That's up to you. That's the end. In the end, that's it. Lilith.
I did have someone, I saw this, and I was on my own little adventures through the internet, and someone was asking about, that they're worried about this. And I was like, look, since I've transitioned, in the last 3 years, I haven't spoken to any members of my family except for my youngest brother. I've left the country. I'm kind of like living bare minimum and hoping I can make it worth it. And I would not transition for anything. Like, everything I've done has been exactly right but again, that's right for me. Not everyone's willing to, like, be unemployed in a foreign country and unable to get a job and, like, just hope they can make it work.
Yeah.
But I'm not hoping I can make it work. I will make it work, but that's a whole nother attitude.
That's it right there. That's a whole different episode.
That's a whole nother thing there. But yeah, like, if anyone asked me, like honest opinion, yes, transitioning for me has been absolutely worth it. And everyone that I know that I can think of off the top of my head, like, it's been the best thing they've ever done for themselves. Now, it's not 100%, and you do have to take your situation into consideration. And I think, just think about, don't dwell on worst case scenario, but really think about what this looks like going forward for you before making that decision.
Yeah. One of the things that I've thought of in terms of the HRT, I've been more afraid not of, like, in my current scenario, losing access to HRT, that does suck. But I've been curious how it would work out post gender confirmation surgery, where they remove your gonads. You no longer produce your native sex assigned at birth hormone. So you need hormone medication for the rest of your life to have your body function correctly. What happens in some of these sort of worst case, darkest scenarios? Will those people still be able to have access to the hormones that they need to live? That's
Not
just
legally. You'll get them on the Silk Road.
okay.
I mean, I maybe, who knows? I don't know. That's the thing, is we don't know how bad this is going to get, how far it's going to go. And it's worse in some places than it is in other places. Like in California, where I am, like nothing fundamentally changed. There's a lot of bad noise, but nothing's different here. Like it's the same as it was 4 years ago. Like it's the same. I can still get all my meds. No one's giving me a hard time.
It's a good way to put it. It's sort of like there's a lot of there's just a ton of trash can lids being banged on, but and that definitely affects us mentally. It brings up a lot more anxiety and stuff like this. But as far as the fundamental changes, it's basically stayed the same.
But that's also not to say that
it might be a lot of trash can lids banging, or
go though.
No, it's okay.
Go. I want to hear the joke.
It wasn't a joke. It was like, it could be trash cans bang, or it could just be the temperature of the water is going up 1 degree at a time. To say that things aren't changing now, I mean, I don't I don't bet my money on things staying the same.
Yeah.
There are like people they say we learn history so we don't repeat it for a reason. And we have benchmarks where we're seeing these things happening again and again that have happened again and again. And so just be aware of that. And
well, I was gonna, that's in league with what I was gonna say, in the sense that like the threat is very real. Like these people definitely have bad intentions. If they were more competent and more better at doing things, and things probably would be a lot worse off than they are. But like, that's not to say that they won't be that bad in 2 or 3 years here. Who knows? The reality of the situation is everyone, with certainly every transgender person and certainly every queer person of any stripe, is watching this situation and asking themselves, well, what the fuck am I going to do when this thing happens? Like what is my plan? And I think that's something every one of us should be thinking about anyway, because it's not just trans people that are going to be affected by full-blown Nazi.
Part of the problem is not every queer person is thinking like that. That's the problem. Like there are queer people out there who's like, yeah, these trans people are ruining everything for everyone. So, that's the thing, is like, there are all these warning signs, and, huge swaths of the population are just like, well, nothing's happened yet. And okay. I mean, again, and I've said this since I left the country, I hope to God, like, I'm wrong and I come back like a dummy. And I'm just like, boy, did I sure dumb it up there. But if I thought that was real, then if that was the case, I probably wouldn't have left if I thought that was the problem. But just, be careful. And then, like I said, in this situation, you have to take your own ability to handle whatever situation you think might happen. And if you think you can handle it, then start your HRT. If you don't, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. You're 18, so it's not, if you waited, and maybe in 4 years everything is right back to normal. Starting at 22 is not the end of the world from someone who started at 47.
Yeah,
which is the end of the world.
Knowing you want it and intentionally not getting it is really hard, though.
It's like, really hard. And like you've said it many times, Amanda, we have never met a trans person who was ever thought, I started transition at the time I want, that was that was what I wanted. Everybody's like, oh, I wish I'd been able to transition earlier.
Yeah, the
I
right
turn
time
20
to
next
start.
year. Is it too late for me? And it's like, shut up.
Shut up.
No, but I mean, but all that's true. It's like I mean, every point this person brings up is legitimate. Like all of those things are scary and real. And that's the other thing is, or you're in college, like there's things you can do about that. Have you looked into going into college in Europe? Like a lot of European colleges will not only will you get to go, like you'll get free education and they'll pay you a stipend to live. Like there's colleges in Northern Europe that'll do this. Like there's things you can do as an 18-year-old where you are at a point in your life where you actually do have the freedom, and you're probably not married. You probably don't have kids. You probably don't have a house. You're not tethered to the spot you're in like people older than 18 generally are. Like as you get older, people tend to bog themselves down with things like mortgages and family and ties to the community and whatnot. It gets harder and harder to sever those things. So you're still in a position as someone that's young that like you can just bounce. Like, you know, if things get real hot, but I mean, that's what I would say, like, get your paperwork in order, have your passport, like, and have a stash of money and keep a stash of money if you can, so that shit hits the fucking fan and it goes bad, or you can fucking bounce and go to Mexico and to ride some of it out, like, you know, or whatever it is that you need to do, or wherever you need to go. But I think making the decision to not start HRT because you're scared of what might happen, I'm not going to recommend that course of action. I don't think placating your worst fears is the way to get what you want or the way to be the person that you want to be. I think it's always going to be scary. There's always going to be something that's there that's saying, oh, don't do this. There's always going to be a part of you that's going to question whether you made the right choice. That's just the human existence. And with that,
yeah, I don't know that I have anything else to add. I think that's a really important one, you know. Yeah, balancing when to come out, when to start some of these things, what factors to include in your decision, and, you know, most of all, just do what feels right for you and what you feel like you can handle. I love that point in Lilith's comments. Yeah, I guess we're ready to close things out today, right?
I am ready. We've got Mediocre Poker coming up at the top of the next hour, so come on round back for that, the old transfer station. And I'm going to be, Emily, are you doing the show with us today?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah, Emily and Raina will both be there. I'm going to do a zone no limit hold'em today, so it's going to be a fast one.
Nice, the quick one's good.
Yeah, and no hand ranging and tutorials today.
Good.
Yeah,
just jump in and go.
And then of course tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Pacific time, we'll be doing the Church of Vault-Tec, where I will continue along playing Fallout 4 live. I believe I don't remember what we did last week. I remember we were just kind of like I think I died a bunch. That's right, I died going to the boathouse. Bottom line is, we're going to continue on with what we're doing in the Northwest, trying not to die. I died twice last week. Raina's not going to be there, unfortunately, tomorrow, so I'm flying solo. I'm also going to be trying a new kind of streaming platform thing out. So get ready for some possible either glitchiness or way better, because it's going to be one of the two. We don't know which one it's going to be, but that'll be tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then, Emily, you got any shows coming up this next week?
Yes, I actually have a guest booked for the Transgender show. So we'll be back on Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern for the Transgender show. And then on Wednesday, I'll be back on at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern for creative block. This last week, I drew a tattoo for our good friend Katie to cover a odd shaped scar. It's a phoenix, and the thing is like I've drawn a phoenix a few times in like a certain way. This was in a kind of an odd pose, and so it was a big challenge for me to find something that worked, and it ended up looking really good. And so we're going to be taking those sketches and digitizing them, starting the digitizing process this week. I'm going to have I think I've got something at directly after, so I'm going to be cutting it to an hour and a half instead of the full 2 hours. But yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday nights we've got things going on, the Transgender show and creative block. So going to be a full week of shows. It'll be very fun.
Well, should anyone subscribe to your Substack?
Oh yeah,
they should subscribe to my Substack. I believe the link is in the description. And you should. It's daily, every day. There's something. There's comedy. This last week, Friday, I got a hold of. If you read the weekly wrap up, I got a hold of some classified announcements from members of Trump's cabinet talking about how great he is. And
okay.
definitely take a moment to read, what Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth and Pam Bondi think of fearless leaders. So definitely check that out. And yeah, that's all I got going on.
Wonderful.
And then just before we sign off officially, I just thank you, Charlotte, for the $3 super chat. Goodbye indeed to you, and we'll see you all at the top of the hour. Thanks so much.
Bye, y'all. Love you.